I think Nico, it's such an important thing that you're doing, because I think so many people are, living a life that's meeting somebody else's expectations so often, parent, society, or whatever it is, and yet there's an opportunity missed in themselves and for society there, because when people are really true to themselves, we've all got such a lot to contribute, and I think it's just a great thing for all of us. Big issues and challenges we've got in the world, and there may be a lot of people who feel strongly about that, but feel frustrated they're not doing something about it, and want to find a way to having that sense of purpose and contribution.
Yeah,
there's that lovely Socratic thought that the unexamined life is not worth living. But the way we live our lives gives us precious little time to examine.
Yes.
So saying to people, look, here's an opportunity to relax and reflect, to relax and think about, who do I really want to be? Who am I? And to do that in the presence of people whose skill it is to guide you through that process in a safe way, in a trusting way, is, I think, it's a very compelling proposition that people are going to say, well, I find that very attractive.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time myself feeling trapped, lonely, misunderstood. And now when I look back, I'm thinking to myself, I wish I could bring back time, because now I am so fulfilled and happy and confident with myself, and I know what makes my heart jump and how I want to live my life. And it doesn't have to, it's not the big things, it's the small things, making an event out of going to shop for tomatoes. And I was thinking, like, if I only had someone to explain me things, to tell me it is okay to be you, it is okay to feel the way you feel, it is okay, let's explore this, let me help you, let me guide you to understand it. I believe I would have probably embarked on that journey earlier, and probably,
But see, I think that is a big thing. And it's when you get those big things right that you then take great pleasure out of the small things.
Correct, exactly, yes.
So you think about the big things, you think about what is it that really matters to me, what are my values, who do I want to be, and you think about what is my best self and how can I be that person more of the time. And when you unlock that, then you do get tremendous pleasure out of the little things in life, because you are yourself and you're enjoying things as yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's pressing the pause button, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all need to do that. We're sort of chasing ourselves so much, and with distractions around us all the time. To have that time, as you say, with people who are going to be on the same journey in one of the most beautiful places in the world. I mean, I'm just trying to think, would I be doing this?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
No, I was also, because I was raised, don't forget, I come from a very small town, right, in East Croatia, and I was raised, I would say with quite a lot of expectations, right? So you have to have a great job, you have to make a lot of money, you have to be perceived as successful. If something is wrong, don't communicate, hide it, right? So there was always certain image that was supposed to be presented. But that wasn't who I am. And it eventually, as the life unravels and with more and more experiences, the time comes when it will come out, right? The time comes when it will come out. And then the journey will begin. That's where the true journey starts, right?
There's a Scottish philosopher called Alistair MacIntyre, and he describes exactly that. And he says, this is what's called our own moral particularity.
Oh, yes.
So your moral particularity is about that small Croatian town.
Yes, exactly.
And my moral particularity is about Catholicism and Ireland, and your moral particularity will be about a bunch of other stuff. And until we actually come to terms with our own moral particularity, and there's a thing there about the emotional baggage that we carry, and so many of us carry emotional baggage that we don't need to.
A lot of it.
Yeah, that we don't need to anymore. And until we carve out that time for ourselves to stop and reflect and think, well, what is my moral particularity and how much of it is emotional baggage I don't need or want to carry anymore?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then we begin to create our own story for ourselves going forward, rather than continue to perpetrate a story that is looking backward the whole time.
Correct, exactly. Yes. So moving forward is always important. But what I have, my attitude and my mindset was always that no matter what happened, good or bad, right, in the past, no matter what happened, it's a tool it's a positive tool for a future.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about how we manage to navigate that angle of using it and observing it, looking at it from a different perspective, shifting it. I mean, you're an expert with emotional intelligence, right? Sometimes when emotion is related to the experience, it's very difficult to break free from certain emotions, right?
Yeah.
But I would do a little exercises with myself. You know, I would be like, this is happening, and I would go in a state of panic, and I would be like, I cannot handle this, like blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, but there has to be one good thing about it, just one good thing about it. And then I would be like, okay, so this is good. Actually, when I think about it, I'm really looking forward to it. And then I would start elaborating the good thing deeper and deeper in my mind till it wouldn't equalize with all of the fears and jeopardies that I would be building up upon myself. So I think moving forward, it's very important, as we say, that like we use past and certain current experiences as a stepping tool, as a stepping point for our future better selves.
And that process that you just talked about there, in emotional intelligence terms, that's about being self-aware and then being able to self-manage.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yes.
that's about, we can all build our emotional intelligence when we understand how to do it. So a lot of what we do when we're working with people is just,
Explain.
awareness is half the solution. If we can
Yes.
help people to be aware, then people can go away and they can do this for themselves. It's not difficult, it's just different.
Yeah.
And when people get hold of the difference and say, okay, I can do that now,
Yeah.
away they go and they empower themselves.
Yeah, but I think like program has been put together in a way where we do host our workshops with a lot of exercises. We raise a lot of questions. We use a lot of illustrations, and I mean, you are all published authors, right? Some of your pieces to encourage people to think and to dive deep, right, on the journey with us with our guidance.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And we all have a choice. That's what I want to say.
We all hope.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We can leave it and just carry on as we want, and we can make the best of the past, or we can leave the past, whatever we want. Really.
Correct.
And that choice is, when we realise we have that at every junction, I think our life frees up amazingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer as well. We all have a choice, and we all make our own choices, and we should own them.
Yeah.
No matter on the outcome.
Yeah.
We should be able, exactly what Roger said, once you find that understanding how to manage your emotions, and when you understand them, then it's easier to have that light connotation and that light vibe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. We all have a choice. I just think that if I'm going to make choices, what I want to have a really good understanding of what my values are, so that I know what's important to me, so that what I
Correct,
bring
yes.
to my decision making is a clear understanding of who I am, of what matters to me,
Yes.
so that I make choices, I make decisions which are congruent with my understanding of myself, with my values, rather than choices and decisions which are just contingent on situation and circumstance.
completely.
So I make more informed choices because I understand better who I am, who I want to be, and how to move into that space of being who I can be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I when I compare my life experiences before, like when I compare how I used to process my choices before and today, it is completely different, right? I will get stuck in certain situations because I wouldn't know how to handle or communicate how I felt or how I perceived the situation, because I would either try to avoid the conflict or wouldn't want to hurt someone's feelings, but then in the end I wasn't benefiting myself neither, right? Because I wasn't honest with myself in front of others. So today I know, hey, you know, like with all of the respect, kindness and compassion, this is me. And as I am being confident with it, at the same time I am capable to accept and understand that not everyone will be able to recognize it, and not everyone have to recognize it. There is a basic human connection between, I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Well, what you were beginning to describe there was this idea of authenticity.
Yeah, I was
That's what you were getting to. You were beginning to think about and talk about authenticity, and this idea about I want to be authentic, so I really need to understand the best me, the authentic me, the me that I strive to be.
Yeah, but I think life
also it's a sort of you know, some people may not like who you are, but that's fine.
That's fine. That's
you know,
fine.
It's like you're not always there to appease other people.
Yeah, but being aware
while
of
being
that.
compassionate. And
Yes, but while being compassionate,
Yeah.
but at the same time, sometimes you can be just as much as compassionate, kind as you can be, right? Sometimes there is like what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and certain rules kind of do, like unwritten rules do apply, but the most important thing is to feel comfortable with who you truly are at your core. People ask me sometimes, is it possible that you wake up happy every day and that you go to bed happy every day? And I'm just like, it's so natural to me that I'm like, yeah, I don't even think about it, whether I am happy or not happy. I'm just fulfilled. And that sense of inner fulfillment gives me confidence in my interaction with other people, because I know what my life purpose is. I am confident within myself in regards to my life purpose. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. Like, I am driven. I am exploring that. And it's much more beautiful journey than the one where you don't dare to open up.
It's so interesting though, isn't it, here, thinking about how we bring up our children, because
Yes.
you know, yesterday at this conference there was a bit on diversity and inclusion, and there were a couple of people speaking very openly about their own family lives, but one guy from Cameroon who came from a family of very high achievers, you know, there was 8 of them and they all had PhDs except for one who determinedly didn't, you know, but you know, he said actually his father-in-law, who was a black man who married a white woman, came out second top in law as a barrister, but this is in the 60s, and basically he was told he couldn't get a job as a black man as a barrister.
Oh wow.
And the rest of his life, what I'm saying, the fallout of mental health, he was never able to pick himself up and work. And then his nephew has just dropped out of Oxford because, you know, he's just, basically there's so much pressure on this whole family that there are casualties along the way.
And serious casualties. Serious casualties.
And you know, it really makes me think with my kids, you know, to talk. I mean, I think it's important, this idea that you stretch yourself and you find fulfillment, but that they find it in their way. That it's, do you know what I mean?
100%. Yes.
Is a guidance and support and help, and say, you know, actually life is more fulfilling if you do really stretch yourself in different ways. But you might want to rest here, you want to break here, whatever it is. It's not all about A star, A star, A star. You know, it doesn't matter if you fail. You know, it's. Do you know what I mean? It's really important to support them emotionally,
100%.
rather than just purely academically or whatever.
Well, we had that discussion, Roger and myself, before, where in regards to the learned behavior, right, and like behavior that was imprinted into you, that wasn't my conscious choice, and that resonates with my values. I struggled quite a lot because my mom is a very strong, independent woman. She's a single mother, right? So she was always strong, focused. She had strong expectations from me. So for me to break free from those expectations and pursue my own life path was challenging, because I went from C-level positions and
Yeah.
running multi-million investments, etc., to, hey, my life purpose is actually being with people and talking to them and helping them understand that we are all special and authentic, and I strongly believe in it. And not delivering at that end where her daughter has high position, very well paid job, etc., house, husband, 2 kids, etc., was a little bit like, what are you doing here?
Can you get Ottolenghi as our cook? No, he tells a story. He came from a very academic family. He got his PhD. He said I think 3 people read it. It was 5 years of the most depressing life. And then I cooked some chocolate brownies.
Yeah.
And everybody was in rapture. He said, I found my vocation.
But I think that's the point. I think that if your life purpose comes from other people's expectations, it will never sustain you.
Never.
But if your life purpose comes from your own values and your own sense of what's right for you, as yours did, then it will always sustain you.
Always.
So you have to start by examining your values, because so many people have a set of values that aren't theirs at all, that they've just adopted, that their parents and guardians and peer group have given them, and they haven't really examined them. And one of the things that's really interesting to do with the kind of workshops that we're building is helping people to say, why don't I look at my values and just make sure that I do own them, and that they're mine and not a kind of a mix and gather 'em that have been handed down to me. Because from my values comes my sense of purpose. So if my values aren't really mine, how can I be authentic? And how can my sense of purpose be sustaining?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.